What were the biggest middle fingers from companies to customers? A 24-hour supermarket I used to service would do all their stocking between 1 to 4 am. every day. During that time, this group of old biddies would do their shopping and constantly complain about the employees being in the way, doing their jobs. Well, the old women started actively complaining about the employees stocking and began calling management every day. After a week or so, the store's solution was to tell the old women, well, I guess you're gonna stop coming in that early, and now they shut their doors from midnight to 5 to allow the workers to stock in peace. But that's awesome of the store. Giving discounted rates to new customers only and none to long-term subscribers members. For example, cable companies. They often don't care about their loyal customers as much as new customers. Cell phone companies are like that too. Switch. You're considered new if you return to. Check the best deal out. Once you find a better one, change. Quick break. Whether you're looking for entertainment, education, or inspiration, Audible has audiobooks for everyone. Link in the description for a 30-day free trial. The Walt Disney Company got huge by making films out of public domain fairy tales and then saw to it that copyright was extended indefinitely. Duckers even tried to copyright some public domain stories. I worked in the intellectual property field for years, protecting people's rights to their inventions and creations. I remember my stomach sinking when I read that decision. I love books, and what Disney and the courts did is reprehensible. Brazilian company bought Tim Hortons coffee shop in Canada and immediately change all the products to ones they use for other businesses. They own their food distributors and throw out Tim's coffee supplier. McDonald's smartly picked up the coffee supplier and is having success with their coffee now. Food at Tim Hortons is garbage now. Just complete middle finger to the customers and history of the brand emo. Pharma companies exponentially increasing the price of everything from insulin to EpiPens. I used to work at a mom and pop restaurant that would be open till 9 PM. Kitchen would close at 8:30. But on Saturdays it'd be open till 10 and kitchen 9:30. Every other Saturday, a gigantic family came in at 9:15 and demanded to be seated. Real asshole rich family. Some of them wouldn't even look at me when ordering or asking for something. They'd always stay well past 10 PM. So staff would often have to go home at midnight. But they tipped very well and left the tables organized, easy to clean, so we didn't bother. Until one day when the boss and most of the staff closed to shop, turned off the open sign and shut down the kitchen early to celebrate a long-time co-worker's day. But this family came in and starting yelling at the birthday girl and the staff for not cooking for them and all that. My boss straight up threatened to call the police if they didn't leave immediately, and from then on Saturdays closed at the same time as other days. My ISP charges an extra fee to enable the Wi-Fi on the router I had to pay for. Edit. I got my own router on day one because duck that. I've already saved back over twice the cost of it. Removing the audio jack from their cell phone so you can't use 99-cent headphones and have to buy their proprietary it. What absolute pieces of human filth. Subscription-based software, like I need Adobe Photoshop to edit photos every so often. I don't use it so much that I feel the need to pay every month. I don't need the newest features now. I just need some features that have been there for a while. And I'm perfectly content with that feature set for a long while. Why should I pay a recurring fee when I could just pay $200-ish and use it whenever I want in my life? Duck you. Adobe. Apple. Here's the 3G, it can only take photos. 6 months later. 3GS. You can take videos. The fact that you could take videos on the 3G if you jailbroke it makes this criminal planned obsolescence. Like you literally used restrictive code to block hardware capabilities, so I would spend another $500 in 6 months. Please hold for the next 27 minutes, but remember, your call is important to us. Facebook and Google selling our personal data and then being like, yeah, I sell all your data, TF you gonna do about it, pussy-itch, when everybody found out, and then continuing to sell our data for the next 10 years because we're about as powerful as a potato bug with a rocket launcher. It would be such a huge move for everyone to just stop using Facebook en masse. It's already happening. Their NA user base has been shrinking for a while now. Their totals are still growing. But it's all from overseas. About 10 years ago, while I was working for a behemoth in the telecom industry, they decided to change their policy on business discounts being extended to employees by adding an activation fee. This fee of $36 was added to the next bill. This was really a slap in the face for small business employees who wouldn't see a return on this initial investment for over a year. The campaign lasted all of 3 months before a board member was presumably bombarded with hate mail and death threats, and the greedy activation fee was dropped. Every oil spill ever. We're sorry. In 1994, Intel's Pentium chip had a flaw that led to some math errors. They first denied it outright, even though it was super easy to demonstrate. They then agreed to replace chips for customers who could demonstrate that it affected them. They finally relented after a media storm and government threats of investigation caused their stock to plummet. Free game apps that force you to spend mega $$ if you want to get anywhere in the game. Also these same apps that made it insanely easy to do so, knowing that kids were going to be spending their parents' money without their immediate knowledge. Boeing forcing through the 737 MAX program with the horrible design errors it had. The worst part is, I suspect any potential whistleblowers feared termination if they vocalized any concerns. Coca-Cola uses real sugar where high fructose corn syrup is banned, which makes a yummier, less dangerous product. In the US they use high fructose corn syrup and it tastes inferior. So Americans have to hustle to find a good source for Mexican Coke. I haven't found anyone mention it yet, so I guess I will. Every single company that has funded the anti-climate change movement. How can there be a bigger middle finger than to try and literally condemn the customers and their children to live in a dying world, just to line their pockets with more money than they will ever spend? I am not religious, but I wish there was a hell, so that I know while people suffer from heat exhaustion, die to climate change driven heat waves and droughts, those worthless ducks would be burning in hell. You paid for it. Your taxes went to build the infrastructure. Now it is privately owned and here is your next increase in rates they promised would never happen. Apple pricing a computer monitor stand at $999. Also charging double for their products that have more storage. Thanks. I'll stick with my LG that supports micro SD cards up to 2 TB. Loot boxes. Day 1 DLC. Present day early access. To name a few. Wells Fargo. They've taken homes from elderly folks with paid off mortgages. They've illegally repoed military members' cars while deployed. They've committed fraud at every opportunity. Their whole extra accounts thing was far from an isolated incident. I really need to switch banks. But duck is it a pain in the ass with 20 plus bills. Taxes. Mortgage. etc. All linked to the account I've had for 20 plus years.